Hello, hello. Welcome. This is week 3, split 9 of SLE. Today we have a complete banger matchup. We have, okay, I'm probably going to butcher this, but Kentishki Tapera versus ARK Aegir, I believe it's how it's called. I'm Mildly Panda. I'm joined by El Chio Bandante. A lot of butchering names. I'll get corrected if I said that incorrect. Um, and yeah, we will be your casters for this match. We got Ghosty on production, and we will shortly have Flay and Che for the analyst task. So I believe that's all from me. Take it away, gentlemen.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, we don't really have a pre-game or pre-match segment tonight. We will be doing predictions for the game, shortly talk about why we think either team is going to win, and also maybe touch on the patch changes and how we think the SLE meta is going to shape, and perhaps what picks we expect to see in our match today.
Yeah, it will be exciting to see what's gonna happen. But as you can already see from the predictions, there's a lot of Araka's favor here. So I'm gonna say that Kentishki is a bit of the underdog for this one.
Do you think Arrakis is going to win, and why?
I think they're gonna win 2-1. It's a little bit based off so far only been two series, right? So it's not too much to go off on. But both teams on 1-1 at the moment. But I think Rackers have looked a little bit more solid. Also, champion pool wise, looks a bit more interesting to play around. I think they have a bit more options on whether it's strong side, top, weak side, and also in the bot lane has a lot of options to play around.
We also know for Arrakis that the jungler, initial jungler, is returning because they played with a sub last week, and now the main jungler is coming back. They also have a substitute mid and a substitute support, even though the support already played last week. So Arrakis is changing up their roster almost every week, and I saw them add a lot of substitutes as well. That's going to affect their consistency from week to week, how they're going to play. One of the reasons I went for Kentishki, I think even though they're an underdog, I see some potential there with good drafting, maybe a Ruckus having consistency issues with the roster. There could be an upset there. So that's one of the main reasons perhaps I went with the underdog today, predicting 2-1.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it's also interesting to see that because they also played against Furrow, right? Was that last week or
Yeah,
was it week one?
yeah.
I believe it was week one. So Wiggis is playing there, and he's predicting 2-1 for Kentishki. So I think maybe he knows something that we're not quite onto yet, right? Because it's always different seeing someone play and then actually playing against them. How does it feel? And even though they won, so I think that'll be interesting
Yeah.
as well.
We don't really have the votes from that game either, right? So it's like Viggy's played against them, but we when we did the preparation for today's match, we didn't really see how they played. We could only see the match results, like the post-game lobby. When I looked at that, one game felt slightly closer in terms of kills and like the drafts, and then I looked at objectives, which was like all Chunky's favored, and the other game, Kentishki wasn't really getting objectives either, which was interesting to see because the game they played last week, they basically stomped both games, but that was against a comparatively weaker opponent, right?
Yeah, indeed, it's still a bit predicting, but that's kind of what it's looking to turn out so far. Yeah. So with that in mind, um, how does it? I feel like when you're the underdog, there's always a bit of you get a bit more fire under your legs to kind of perform and prove people wrong. Whereas opposed to when you're not the underdog, there's a lot of how do you say? Um, there's a lot of expectations that you want to make come true, and that can also bring about some nerves, I suppose.
Yeah, Kentishki is relatively unknown or completely unknown in SLE, even though it's like seems like a properly functioning organization or team,
Hmm.
so to say. Iraqis, on the other hand, we know them as being a huge organization. They have teams playing everywhere. So for them, being this known name and playing on that team might be for those players as well. Like you need to kind of uphold this like standard or level of play, which puts like more pressure on them perhaps to perform and might give like the underdog a slight advantage in that sense as well. They have nothing to lose. They can come in just to play and basically give their best.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. With that in mind, we can also look a little bit uh, on the patch. New patch last Wednesday dropped a lot of buffs and nerfs, but most notably might be the AP junglers that are getting a little bit more buffs, both on the clear speed as well as some other things. So I'm wondering how that's going to change the meta around for this first match, because it's only been 2 days, right? So things like maybe Morgana jungle or Silence jungle might already be some pocket picks for people. But Nautilus getting some jungle buffs, that's been out of the meta for way longer, but it's a very nice flex to have. So I'm interested to see, are people going to be able to already pick it up, or is it too early to play around?
We were talking about the Nautilus Flex just the other day. Steve-O from Vitagen Syndicate was proposing that Nautilus Flex could be really good, and then me, Ant, and a couple other people tried. I think you were there as well for a moment when we did the mock drafts for the Nautilus early Flex, which is something we could see. And then if it does come out, see how people respond to that. And as you said, like the Morgana, we also saw like Zyra pop up in win rates and play rates, something that could see play with AD solo laners, for example.
Hmm. Yep. And I think especially in so let's just say in the SLE level, having something like a Morgana or a Nautilus can bring a lot of utility, a lot of power in like ease of execution, flexibility, and also just pure lockdown on your opponents.
Yeah, exactly, right. I agree with that. Nautilus, especially once you get into skirmishes and team fights, just having all that CC is gonna help a lot in terms of execution and make the fights easier to play out.
Yep, yeah, I think so as well. We can think back about, for instance, to the Rel jungle era. It was also permanently picked. Like once the clear speed got like kind of decent, it's just such a good way to set up fights, to tank, and also just low econ. So perhaps Nautilus can take that place this time around.
I was looking at KTT's drafts against. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of the
Hmm.
team they played against last week, but I was looking at the drafts, and the drafts were actually quite logical in terms of meta because, for example, they went Renekton game one and then realizing in game two that Renekton is out, they went like Ambessa early pick
Hmm.
because, for example, like you don't want to play against the Renekton, but knowing it's out, you can safely blind it early in a draft. And then other picks like knowing the Trundle is good into Wukong in terms of meta, having the Zeri Lulu picks into Jinx, for example. So a lot of their
Yeah.
picks made sense, like in terms of the order they were picked in, and also knowing kind of the matchups that are played
Hmm.
at higher levels as well.
Yep. 100%. Having them a very comfortable top laner as well that allows them to kind of pick stuff like Renekton, Rumble, Ornn very early on. And I think it will be interesting to see if Roland can kind of, yeah, can he contest that? Does he have the pool to kind of match that, or is it just going to be Renekton answers? And because it is fearless, so if you just pick it away one series, you don't have to deal with the opponent on the other side having it. But yeah, like you said,
Speaking of,
mm-hmm.
sorry,
No good.
speaking of top lanes, I was watching the two streams, one of the Rakus games and then the other game, it was both top laners kind of liked playing aggressive, liked to proxy, take the fights, but I also saw both top laners not do well on weak side. They were still trading when like the jungler was pathing away from them, so we could see like really good aggression, controlled aggression, and leads from top lane. But we could also see top laners falling behind, trying to like fight too much and maybe take fights at bad times.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I think that's a very fair point. Trying to play around your strengths and not getting caught up in the fights and just the brawl of it all is, I think, a very
Looks
good
like
skill
the
to master.
looks like the draft started though, so we can give it to the casters for this one.
Take it away, let's.
Mm-hmm.
Hello everyone, I'm El Bandante and today I'm joined by Panda and we will be the casters for today. I guess that I already introduced this. The draft already started. We can see that KTT banned Viego and Darius and ARK banned Caitlyn. What do you think about this bans, Panda?
Both of these teams are relatively new to me, but Viego banning away the Viego makes sense. Very solid blind pick. Darius, I do know that. Sorry, hold on. Let me quickly orientate myself here. So it's KTT on blue side and ARK going to be on the red side. And yeah, Roland, a very powerful Darius player. The only thing that I see more is the Volibear. Maybe we see that being banned out next. Nope, just going to be the Kaisa.
And on the other side, the Pantheon. It makes sense. It's of execution. We also see it a lot in pro play. Junglers playing a lot of Pantheon.
Final ban up in the air here.
And looks like it will be a Nautilus, which makes sense. We talked, the analyst talked about the meta, the flex pick Nautilus, which is really strong. So since they're not the first pick, they will probably just ban it away. A blind pick Rumble, which is something really solid.
We do know that Felibor is a huge fan of the Rumble. I can see that he does also have Rumble as his in-game League of Legends icon, so must be a huge fan of it. Also, probably riding off the fact that Rumble got adjusted this patch. I didn't see the exact changes, but I assume that feels very confident in those changes.
And for the ARK, let's see, they are gonna pick the Ezreal, and I think they will not pick top quite yet. I have a feeling that they will likely pick it on third, because usually you don't want to sorry, my English is not
no problem, take your time.
Yes, my English is not really good right now, but oh, never mind, they will pick it right away. I would have expected a jungler and then a top lane, but Gwen is a great pick. Looks like sorry.
Very good into the Rumble in general, and also just more on the Ezreal pick. From the little bit of skimming that I did of KTT, their ADC does appear to be very flexible in what they can play. So blinding Ezreal always going to be good here. Trundle in response. This is shaping up to be a lot like very much like a reminiscent of an LEC, LCK type draft. Both teams playing very seriously. We do know that for ARK, it's mid lane and support which have been subbed in, and KTT do not have anyone subbed in. So I wonder if that will at any point make a difference. Ashe also getting picked out here just to secure the matchup, or rather the counter in that bot lane here.
Yes, and I think most probably ARK will gonna pick the jungler now, which I feel like should be an AD fighter, since you already picked an AP top laner. Actually, both teams have an AP top laner, both dealing a lot of damage in team fights, and now they're gonna pick the mid lane.
Victor, very interesting pick. From what I can see, I assume that it's Mr. Nick playing for ARK in the mid lane here. It is... I barely see any Victor games here, but it is also just generally a very solid blind pick, and I wonder if mayhaps there's an alter somewhere else where this Victor can show a bit more confidence, but that's at least a good sign to get such a niche pick out of the way.
Yes,
Back
and
to
then now
bans.
they're gonna ban the Aegir.
And also just occurred to me that they probably picked it because KTT's mid laner is actually such a huge fan of the Victor.
Yes, that makes perfect sense, and now they're gonna ban the Jarvan since it has really great synergy with Victor in team fights.
Especially into this team comp, a lot of E-mobile champions that KTT have picked out for themselves already.
Looks like only 2 bans left and 4 picks.
Expect to see. Okay, we do get a support eventually banned out. I'll assume the Nautilus ban before was the Nautilus Pantheon was more towards their jungler. Very
Yes, and now
good.
Yes, sorry, and now
Yeah.
I wanted to say that.
Yeah, I'm
it's a
trying
bit
to
awkward.
find the vocal cues here.
Yes, Braum makes perfect
Braum very
sense.
good
since-
into Ezreal.
Yes, good into Ezreal. It's annoying for Gwen in team fights. You're not gonna get your damage on multiple people. And the last one banned is gonna be Wukong. Again, great synergy with Victor. Would be a strong duo, especially in skirmishes near the Drakes, the Grubs. So it's better to just take out these 2 very great skirmish and teamfight oriented junglers. And ARK will pick Irelia, which
Very
is interesting.
Mostly because
we
I
might-
think I believe the Gwen was actually a flex. It was Gwen going into the jungle here. Now Aurelia gonna go
Yes.
top because I'm looking at everything else that the ARK jungler plays. Gwen is actually the second highest, right behind Viego. So maybe KTT was slightly expecting this and actually picked Trundle in response to that Gwen.
Yes, it is indeed a flex pick, and we're looking at a rel support for the KTT. Which to me looks strong, with especially with the synergy with Rumble. And after you're getting the Rumble ult with the Rel ult, Ashe can just run everyone down with Trundle. So they're looking.
Very big pickup. I was surprised that neither team picked or banned it sooner than this, as both supports very much in favor of playing this Rel here. Talia gonna be the last champion to round out KTT's comp.
Very meta, a very meta mid laner, and also it's gonna be very weird for Irelia to play this, especially when you're having Trundle and Talia in the enemy team, with Trundle stealing your AD. Talia is probably gonna not let you play most of the team fights, or at least not how you want to play most of the time. You will probably have to flank or try to find an angle that is not gonna. It's gonna force Talia to either E to stop an engage, or rather to stop you. It's if you're gonna try to play front to back, in my opinion, from ARK perspective, you're not gonna be very successful, especially since you don't really have a tank or like more tankier fighter.
I do appreciate this Karma pick right at the very end, though. I don't see that Deathless ARK support has played it a bunch, but with the picks that have come out already, it makes a whole lot of sense. Shield, there's not too many champions on KTT's side that can deal with that, and also with the general immobility, those snares are going to be very difficult to get rid of in the late game and can set up the entire rest of the team very easily. So while I agree that it is a bit of a detriment on ARK's side to not have a full-on tank, there's a lot of champions on their side that can just very easily take a team fight away off of very little. So for example, let's say Gwen ults and then Aurelia ults on top of that, and now everyone's slow, and Victor ult, Ezreal ult, and it's a very burst heavy comp.
Yes, and I also feel like it's very tricky for KTT as well, because mostly ARK will try to poke them until the point that you can just burst them out. But the only concern I have with ARK's comp is that who is going to stop Rel? who's going to stop Rel from getting an engage on multiple people, which might be devastating. You're having Ezreal that can dash away, but other than that, it's gonna be pretty difficult for them to get out of a strong Rel engage, especially after the fact that you have the Rumble and the Talia that can both follow it up. Talia with the EW and Rumble with the ult. In my opinion, KTT draft is stronger, or at least I would prefer to play the game from KTT perspective. But what is your opinion on that?
Yeah, I think so as well. I think it's a lot easier to at least find one target for the side of KTT and just eventually rip open the rest of ARK's comp like that. I also noticed in chat, Wiggies, yeah, Rel can break all those Karma shields, so maybe there was another idea behind ARK's plan here. I think Rel being able to break Karma shields isn't the craziest thing in the world, but I do agree that at the very least, also the type of team compositions you'd expect at pro play, maybe not that it applies at an SLE at the SLE level, that just optically it looks nicer. It's a feeling, you know? You play League of Legends enough, you just look at the comp, yes, that's what you want.
I think we can also ask the opinion of our analysts, especially since they are our specialists in terms of drafts and champion picks. So Che, Flay, the sun is yours.
Thanks. What are we thinking?
What are we thinking? Indeed, I think there's a lot of range on the side of ARK, and I feel like it's kind of up to Kentishki to punish and see what there's to like grab on the mid lane, for instance, but also potentially on the bot lane, because it's very safe on bot, but this Victor is like a kind of a liability when you have the Talia set up with the Trundle pillar as well. And same in the top side, Aurelia versus Rumble. I feel like if you can sway that matchup in the Rumble's favor or in Aurelia's favor, I think it will continue to kind of go that way. And in that sense, a Trundle is like a way nicer pickup because it can set up the ganks a lot easier. Gwen probably wants to full clear until, well, until she has items, until she has 6. 1 item at least, something like that. So I think it's really up to Kentishki to grab this game and see what they can do with it.
I was looking at the Gwen pick, and then with the Rumble first pick, it's like a lot of the times you see Gwen, for example, B1, you have the flex between top and jungle. You can keep it open till late, maybe ban something in second rotation to take away the bad matchups in top, maybe put her there. But Arrakis knew the Rumble matchup, so they could choose whether Gwen goes top or jungle early. And then Victor on 3 banning out Ahri, for example, that's pretty good drafting as well. Then we saw, okay, Aurelia goes top, they put the Gwen jungle. The only thing I was looking at midway through the draft is that they have no real way of starting fights. It's like they need to get priority if they want to move anywhere on the map. They need to basically bully out opposition in lane, have the jungler reinforce, and then set up the objectives through priority, vision, anchors. You put the pinks down and then you start playing from there. Otherwise, it's going to be really difficult for them to choose when they fight. It's like KTT can almost always choose when they fight, especially if they play around Ashy, they had the vision. They might lose priority in certain lanes early, but just having the choice of when they fight might be really important in that game.
Yep, I completely agree. I think all the agency is kind of in the hands of Kentishki, and Rakus almost has a sort of will probably just hand skill to infinity, but you first gotta get there, and I don't really have any. You could potentially get there through some sort of bot lane prio and something similar, but I think it's a lot more. It requires a lot more patience, a lot more skill to execute that.
Yeah, because looking at execution, we can talk about draft advantage here or there, but I would say like ease of execution, Kentishki definitely has that, and then Arrakis largely relies on playing the poke, playing the prio, map movement, and then perhaps catching them off guard with vision and setups rather than like brute forcing the fights.
Yep. 100%. And
I like my odds here for KTT
Yeah.
taking the first game
I was-
though, because
I was
think
gonna
the
say.
execution, like just having that, I think they might.
my prediction is looking a lot more wobbly with the minute.
Did you go 2-0 or did you go 2-1?
I went 2-1. Maybe we'll see. We'll see. Everything can still happen. You know, it's too early. It's only draft. I think draft sometimes can be overrated a bit, and we'll see.
I'm going to invite myself back in for just a quick second because I do want to also just say in the defense of ARK, I feel like a lot of the predictions, and mine included of course, were not entirely unfounded, where just roughly, even though both teams are 1-1 apiece, I think ARK just solo queue wise and in their execution have been a little bit stronger. So if any single one of these champions on their team gets really far ahead, it is probably difficult for KT to come back from that, I'd imagine.
Yep.
Possibly so, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
You are actually researching your predictions. I'm just rolling 2 dice 3 times, and whoever comes on top wins the game. This time I only rolled twice because it was 2 also.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of exciting stuff sure to happen this game. We are slowly loading into the match. I am not sure if it shows up on screen just yet, but we can also discuss some of the runes going into this. And also thank you for the analysts, because I'm assuming we're just going to take the reins back from here.
Hey, take it away.
Thank you, thank you. Do see there is one thing that I really want to call out: the unsealed spellbook. It's still here. We still have the confidence to play it at this level. I really want to see some big things from Endeli. We obviously do know that the unsealed spellbook smite was nerfed a while back, but other than that, just to see completely crazy summoners being blown, and if you're not paying attention, it's very easy to catch people off guard with that.
Yes, I completely agree. Other than that, it looks quite normal. The one thing I enjoy a lot, but actually I feel it's the right way to play, it's the Ghost on Ash. Once you are getting caught, you're not going to go away, especially in team fights. And yeah, we're just waiting for the game to start.
Mm-hmm. We have some unexpected development. League of Legends is refusing to cooperate in spectator view. We will be right back in a moment.
Right back in like 10 seconds. I believe that the client will cooperate this time.
Just a small black screen of death. Other than that, do you know anything about Rumble runes? I mean, Arcane Comet looks fairly normal to me, but in my mind, at the very least, Aurelia is a lot more of a lane bully than Rumble is. So is it just for Rumble to trade even in the early game here? If you have any info on it?
I don't have much information, but I would rather think that it's to poke her early with your E, because if Irelia is gonna stay healthy when she's level 3, you're not gonna hit the wave at all.
Mm-hmm. KTT.
This is how I feel. You don't really want to all in against an Irelia. And yes, we're looking for an invade.
Making their way up to ARK's top side. Roland needs to be on guard here. There's also Talia coming down from the bottom. Roland spots it out in time though, and Rel not going to be able to crash down onto the Aurelia. Nothing happens level 1.
Yes, no flash used. But it looks like now ARK are trying to ward the enemy jungle, or just maybe trying to catch someone off guard when they're coming to the red buff.
Mm-hmm. As a jungler myself, a very big fan of seeing the blue eggs across the board. Hands down most broken jungle egg to start, of course. And other than that, no major surprises coming out of this level 1. Tapera Sorry, I can't really read that name. Taperidza, is that correct? Oh, I feel like I'm butchering so many different names today. He caught out the
Yes.
ward level 1 on his Raptors. Good on him.
Yes, for less butchering, I think it would be easier sometimes to call them by their champion names, but of course we will try to call them by their names as much as we can. We can see the expected poke from ARK against the KTT bot lane. Probably
Yep.
bot lane will be the lane that will fight the most, in my opinion, because other than that, I don't see, which is something that the analyst called as well, I don't see many ways for ARK to set up a gank with Gwen jungle. Like, there are not many ways you can set up Gwen. Maybe Aurelia that can hit her E, but it's not really that easy to hit it when Rumble can just run faster with his W that gives him movement speed. And also on mid, I don't see any way for Gwen to gank.
Yeah, probably just gonna be farming up until she has ultimate, which will make it easier to gank. It was Trundle, I believe, showing at level 3. Sorry, just a quick note to the producer. I don't know what's going on with Parsec, but the screen share is very pixelated. I don't know if there's anything that can be done about that right now, but
Well,
still good enough. Still good enough to see, of course. But if there's a way to fix that, that would be nice. As first blood going down in the top lane.
which is pretty unexpected, if you ask me.
All of a sudden, Arcane Common not looking too bad.
Yes, but I have a feeling that Aurelia got hit by a tower shot because it otherwise looks a bit off. Good poke from Ezreal. He's gonna get some back, but I don't think Ash wants to extend that much longer.
They're
She can
sticking
die
way
here,
lower.
and I think she will. And now Rel is looking trouble as well. I think she will get away, but it's gonna be close. No, nice snipe from Israel, and we're looking.
AEG's bot lane picking up where Aurelia left off, as Aurelia going down a second time. Oh my goodness, poor
Oh,
Aurelia.
that's really a hard break from Aurelia because now she's gonna lose 2 waves. She's gonna be permanently behind the Rumble, and she also has no TP.
Dorn's shield not really going to be working out for her, but also a little bit strange because she could probably have anticipated if it was as a result of the Trundle that she died a second time. A little bit of an invade going on here, but Gwen can cover that no problem. And also going Raptors into Krugs first, I believe. No, Gwen already did back at this point.
Well, it's gonna. That was an.
Just a little quick from Karma in the mid lane here. But other
Yeah,
than
and
that,
Talia had to flash there because otherwise she was dead. She was definitely gonna get stunned by Victor's W. And if she's not careful, she might die to Flash E and Q.
still ticking a bit lower, but other than that, I don't expect there to be much more excitement in the mid lane. It's either getting very, very low, but now giving the respect that Victor deserves here.
And now we're back on bot lane, where most of the action will probably happen. Gwen wants to convert her level lead with a Drake, because now Trundle has to do 2 camps in order to match her XP. I'm not sure if Trundle will level up on the next one, but she of course has free access to the Drake, especially now that Victor will come back on the lane with TP if there is a problem, and bot lane has Prio, so this
Trundle
should be a
is
free
in the
day.
area. Dragon is probably going to be free, but there is a chance that Trundle can turn onto the bot lane of AEG here. Just finishing up his Krugs, and yeah, no, this Dragon is long gone.
I'm wondering if Rumble will want to convert his level with lead with an all-in with ult once he.
I still think even though he is up 2 kills on this Aurelia here, Aurelia is a very scary champion if she has the correct opportunity, but yeah, the zoning up top is looking a little bit abysmal for the Aurelia, especially with ult advantage that this Rumble has now for the moment.
I think that Rumble wants to set up a slow push, and now that he knows both junglers were bot side, wants to dive Irelia. He has ult. She will not hit level 6. Actually, she might now, but if she doesn't, he might try to dive with ult.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Ult just being preemptively used, maybe. Yeah, just pushing it in so that he can get a recall faster. Probably sitting on hunting guys. Gwen being pushed back away from the Scuttle Crab here. Nothing much more of note. We do also see the Dark Seal picked up from the Talia here. Very ambitious, saying that this Victor isn't going to have it safe for long. And also probably has a lot better setup for the ganks than the Gwen, which, like analysts pointed out earlier, are going to be scaling a lot better into the late game.
yes, indeed. And now that the junglers move on top side, ARK can just poke out KTT's bot lane. Oh, it's gonna be pretty scary now, but yes, the wave will just make sure that Ash doesn't die there. She's going very deep to base, which I feel like a correct move, but you know, just being scared of Gwen coming from your jungle. That's a great reset from ARK bot lane. And by the way the game's going, I feel like ARK's top side is a little doomed, but I do give them the advantage at this point. I feel like their bot lane is playing better. The mid lane, I feel like it's stronger, especially now that it has a flash advantage. I think they were gonna look to fight here. We can see Karma petting. Rel is already there. If they want to start a fight, they should probably do it quicker, because once Karma is there, I don't see any way for them to win. And yeah, the fight is gonna happen, but Rumble doesn't have ult, which is pretty disastrous, as they are probably just gonna get wiped. Rel escaped very low. And I'm not sure I can see because of the pixels, but did KTT manage to get any grabs? I don't think they did. Yeah, no, I don't think they did.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, we still have a few tech issues, but
I-
all good. Aurelia going all in on the Rumble. Both HPs ticking lower and lower. Rumble shield gonna save him, and Aurelia going for the disengage, not wanting to take any tower shots here. Rumble gonna be
Yeah.
backing off of this.
Yes, but it felt a little weird, because I would have gave the Trundle, the Rumble the victory if he would have commit with the shield and his passive was stacked. It means that he does a lot of damage with his auto attacks, which, in my opinion, Rumble should have committed.
Mm-hmm.
More poke coming from from ARK side. Very oppressive bot lane. We can see it in the CS difference.
Trundle going for
I
a very
don't think the
ambitious
gank
here, but Karma getting caught out here a little bit. HP ticking lower and lower, and all the way down. Trundle picking up another kill for the side of KTT. Now both sides 3 kills apiece, but AEG of course getting the feat of warfare a little bit before that. Aurelia going to chunk this Rumble down a bit. Nothing more is going to happen.
Yes, and now Trumbo is trying to retaliate a little bit. And in my opinion, it was a very good and massive pick in the economy of the lane. And Ezra is going to get cut out as well. He's not having flash, he's dead here.
Trundle didn't entirely back at that point, and Ezreal, in his hubris, tried to cue the bushes a little bit and got just desserts. Aurelia full all-inning the Rumble now. Rumble just going to be flashing out, and top lane is once again uneventful. Gwen going for a gank onto KTT now. Ashe running for her life. The final ult, the needlework will connect, but Rel does manage to get away with her life. Does Gwen catch up to her? Probably not. And there's a dragon up.
And now if you are on Ashe's side, you would probably be very tilted, especially with the way the wave is is situated and you are 30 farm behind Ezreal. Once you were thinking that the things are going to get better for you, the Gwen is coming, which is a little bit of a heartbreak.
And another perfect pillar for the side of Tapera. And another kill going over to this Trundle. Tapera with not all kills on KTT, but 4 out of 5 kills on the side of KTT, performing very well here. Both junglers also having their first item here in the Triforce and the Nashers.
And the last gank, Victor actually tried to trade with Talia, but Talia was really smart not to grid for the kill. We can see that TP coming.
Rumble TPing in, Karma taking lower and lower, and Rel just gonna not barely get the kill. Gwen getting off of Dragon to try and save it, but her taking lower. Now Trundle getting the kill onto Gwen, and unfortunately, off of not covering bot well enough, KTT pick up yet another kill. Very unfortunate for the side of AEG here, but that is an objective potentially going to the way of KTT if Mr. Nick isn't contesting the Dragon here. Just goes back to mid lane, and now both teams are 1 Dragon apiece.
I think this is an all-in potential for Rumble, and it is.
Relia going lower and lower.
It's not going to be even close. I don't think there is nothing you can do as Relia here.
Yeah, I got a little bit of healing off on the minion wave, but I was very surprised that was a complete 100-0 without Rumble even having used ultimate here.
Yes, he's got the full item, and also passive stack is very, very strong on Rumble.
As AEG, this is not what you want, and kind of just almost a result of the draft in my personal opinion, but also the mechanics of KTT of this point at this point cannot be understated. They've been playing very well up until this point. We do also have a couple of other first items coming out here now, most notably on AEG's side for the Moonstone Renewer of the Karma and the Luden's Companion of the Victor.
I feel a breaking point in the game would be once the Ezra is getting his first item, and Ashe probably will not, as she started with boots. I think the teamfights will play much easier for ARK once it happens.
Or ARK, I kept referring to them as AEG because Aegir is still in the back of my mind.
It looks like they tried to bait Rumble in.
On to Rumble here. Needlework is up and available. Not going to go for it just yet, and Aurelia's stun going to be missed as well.
This could have been a great all-in potential if Rumble would have gridded, since Gwen has red buff and she would slow Rumble permanently, and she would stick on him with Ghost.
I don't know if it's just the UI, but I'm actually kind of surprised that... Okay, never mind. I'm no longer surprised. My question would have been why neither Trundle nor Rumble have the shutdown, but for as well as we've seen KTT apparently do, and them being ahead in kills, it's actually ARK here ahead in the gold,
Yes.
by a very small amount. Gwen playing a little bit with fire here, but manages to get out just right. And there are 4 KTT members looking to take this Rift Herald here, with ARK spot being placed top here in response to this. So hopefully going to look to contest.
Yes, but we can see that Rumble ulted bots to match Aurelia, and now Aurelia can try to ult topside.
And a clean ult coming down on, and a clean crashdown coming out from the Rel. Trundle having to flash out, but Ashe going lower and lower here. Rel fending for life, and Gwen does manage to pick up the kill. And KTT, unfortunately, go down 1 man before finishing off the Rift Herald. And as ARK, this is exactly what you want. You get the Rift Herald, you get a kill, you're feeling good about yourself. But of course, the Rumble does get a few plates here in the bot lane in exchange.
I don't think he can get any plates since they have fallen already. But he will get some damage on the tower. But I think Aurelia is going to get it first. The problem for KTT here, I think that they wanted to win on both sides. They wanted not to let Aurelia take the tower on bot, but also they wanted to get the Herald, which you can't get both. You have to commit to one and give the other. And when you try to do both, you are probably not going to get any one of them. It's really very smart to use the DTP to get into the fight and create numbers as advantage, which denied the Herald from KTT's side.
Aurelia also getting first hurt here means I do believe that ARK have their feats of strength along with the feats of warfare, first hurt and the first 3 kills. So their scaling is looking to be a little bit better. And obviously the big 2k gold lead now that they have in their pockets is going to be very much enjoyed by their side.
Yes.
We also see tier 3 Lucidities on Karma already. It's just a little bit funny to always think that a completed support item counts for that as well.
Oh yes, as a legendary.
So early,
Indeed,
yeah.
yes. But I'm a great fan of Lucidity boots upgrade. If I'm getting feats of strength, I always buy them. I feel like they are the strongest pair of boots. Unless you have a champion that's very reliant, like Hekarim, which, yeah, you have to go with stiffness boots. But other than that...
As they are looking for a bit of engage here on ARK's mid lane, they are able to kill Karma here. Gwen looking to retaliate a little bit, but she can't run into this many numbers. There is Victor going to try and place down his ult for a little bit of support, but no, I think ARK just threw themselves one by one at KTT to the sound of absolute crickets. That's 2 kills over to KTT.
Invela will probably get a turret here, but it's going to be traded for a Drake. I'm not sure she has time, but with her 2 grabs, I think she might have. So no, she doesn't.
Making sure that no more damage gets done to the tier 2, and that's 2 dragons up to KTT. That was a really strange fumble here by ARK, especially at such a pivotal moment when the Infernal Dragon is up here, which I do believe does help out ARK a lot more if they were to have gotten it than KTT here.
Yes, it was a pretty weird fight in the mid lane because I understand the need for Gwen to try to retaliate, get something back, and it was a great flank by Victor, but I really was gonna get counterplay on top side anyway. They were all people on mid, so I really with the tier 2 would actually been more worse if you would have just defended.
Rel playing a little bit around with the Gwen here, making sure that she can't enter the jungle any further. And Tapera potentially looking on Roland here. Does manage to get a very good pillar, but nothing else comes of it. You also mentioned the first couple of items in the bot lane. I think ARK still have most of their confidence in this Ezreal Karma pairing, and we do see the Triforce coming out for him now.
Yes, and also Israel is really ahead of Ashe at this point.
I just noticed that's a massive 50 CS difference down there in the bot lane. Oh, I wonder what happened during lane. I wasn't paying too much attention. Maybe Ashe just had a poor time farming here, especially with Karma's poke. But Karma gets pillared out in the wrong way, and Ashe ult lands on her as well. There's no hope for her as she goes down. Gwen and Ezreal left fending for themselves, and Rel trying a failed disengage here. Ezreal just getting a little bit of poke back, but that's again another kill to KTT.
Yes, and that's the thing with KTC's draft. Once you're getting picked, you are getting picked. There is not much you can do. And it looks like his Irelia is probably going to fall as well.
The Horde is going top, and the ult is melting half of KTT, but it's 2 kills apiece here. Rumble goes down now as well. 3 kills to ARK, 2 to KTT. And the Victor completely cleaning up as KTT get aced. Minute 20 ace. And can they do Otacon off the back of this? The Karma's making her way to make sure that these guys are a bit more sustained, but what happened? It looked so promising for KTT.
Yes, but the Gwen was really, really strong when she joined the fight. And also, it was a little bit of a heartbreak for Talia. I don't think if anyone caught that, but Talia could have probably killed Victor if she wouldn't have gotten stunned by his W. And also, Atacant had a lot of impact in this fight for both of the teams.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the way the KTT were positioned, it was probably more worth for for ARK. It was a
And
little bit
now
red-sided.
from the complete blue, Mr. Nick on this Victor here, 2 items and really menacing with a 400G shutdown is going to be dealing a lot of damage if he can just poke someone down.
Yes, and if you manage to not get picked by maybe an Ashara or a Great Pillar, we saw that Trundle has a lot of Great Pillars in this match. They will most probably win at this point. I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
For me, at this point, the game is in the bag for ARK. Gwen is looking really, really strong, and once she has ult, I don't think there is any way to stop her. If Gwen has Ghost and ult, what can you do about her? You have Trundle and Rumble that can probably target her, but they will most likely pop.
They
She's very,
do.
very strong.
You do need to remember they do have 2 dragons in the back here, and ARK mysteriously, whenever a dragon pops up, they find a way to make an unholy fight that just completely throws their chance of getting the dragon. So for KTT, it's not entirely over yet. And I do also like some of the prophylactic item building here, or at least from the Trundle. The Spirit Visage Merc Treads, completely anticipating that Gwen and Victor would be like the major problems here. And also just the Bramble Vest for any of the healing that Karma and Gwen will have from their kits, as Tapera looking for something here, but nothing more, as ARK have this area very much locked down.
They are taunting a little bit since Irelia wants to get the juicy gold of the tier 2 tower. And
Rel going a little bit too far, ends up getting snared. Gwen not quite getting the damage off. Rel will have to flash out. Needlework still coming out, but the kill will land off the very tip, or the very end of the Needlework. That's Rel down and a dragon up, and all of a sudden ARK have found themselves in a favorable fight right before dragon, the exact thing that they needed to slowly close out this game.
yes, and I don't think there is I don't think there is many ways to answer the Gwen at this point. I really don't see it, because one of your 2 guys that will have to deal damage to Gwen is probably gonna be stuck on top lane. You have to stop Irelia somehow. Irelia is probably gonna permanently split push, and if someone TPs, she will just TP the other way and create a numbers advantage onto the objective, or she will drag someone with her, and it's gonna be very, very annoying, because if you're gonna get Rumble out of the fight, Gwen is probably gonna be unkillable. If you're gonna drag Telly up, because she's the other person that has TP in this game, you will most likely not gonna be able to catch many people, because Telly is one of the strongest follow-ups to the rail engages. So it's a point where it's very hard to win if you are on the KTT side.
Yeah, the Hullbreaker is speaking very much volumes to what you said. You cannot let this Aurelia side lane at all costs, as Baron is going up in 20 seconds, and both teams generally looking to create a little bit of space here. ARK getting to it first here. There is still Aurelia and Talia on the side lane, like you said. Talia, Aurelia very much comfortable there, but both laners still have their TP there to potentially join a Baron fight. A little bit early, but Trundle and Rel gonna look to create some space, but a little bit scared of the Victor Karma poke.
Victor indeed looks very scared at this point. Also has quite decent penetration with the upgraded boots and the penetration gem. I'll be honest, I never remember the name of the gem that gives you magic pen.
Blighting Jewel, I think?
It's very good that you know it, because I never remember it.
There it is. Thank you
Yes,
very
and-
much, Ghosty. That's the niche League of Legends knowledge, yeah. I think I actually spent an evening one day just going through all the League of Legends items, as Gwen going in on the Rumble here. Needlework gonna be popped, and so is the Rumble, as Rel Trundle not even close. Talia ulting in here as well, but KTT is trying to fight a lost battle as the tier 2 top turret goes down as well. A little bit of poke going down onto Gwen, but this is terrible. Baron is up, and all KTT can do now is pray that they can somehow manage to flip the Baron here.
I think they will probably want to trap that, because I realize on bot and you have to answer it. And
Gwen going in one more time. But they're just going to be going out. Good damage going down. Rel ulting, but to the sound of absolute crickets once again as Rel completely melting. Or Gwen even melting the Rel and the Trundle. And Ash, no! So you should have saved yourself while you could. That's not a triple for Gwen, but that's 3 kills going over to ARK. A Baron in their pockets as well. Aurelia stopped split pushing. Wow.
They're probably looking for the tier 2 on mid as well.
Mm-hmm. They want it all. Very greedy here. Oh, a little bit of poke.
Yes, but she's very strong with the upgraded boots and the Hullbreaker.
Rumble going
Although,
down? No.
it was a
Nope.
great ult.
She's still alive. I think if she had a bit of time with the wave and Bork, she would have just whoop, 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 entirely back to full HP. But she's just gonna back.
The flash on her is actually a good thing to take out because once she is split pushing now, it's easier to take her down if you are gonna send 2 or more people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually a more important flash than you might think at the first moment. Although the fights are still gonna be ARK favored.
Yeah. And
That's all.
they're also, this Aurelia also building a bunch of resistances now to what threatens her the most. Trundle and Ashe are very dangerous, of course, but with her dashing around, she isn't going to be affected by Ashe slow, and Trundle always has to catch up to how mobile she is, so it's only really going to be the Talia and the Rumble, which she has the tier 3 Mercs and Wit's End for. But of course, it was the Gwen, Victor, Ezreal that have been shining the most. The Aurelia was mostly just there here as support in this pressure in the side lane. As all KTT can do now is completely turtle and hope this Baron just plays out without too many more turrets going down as Gwen finding the Trundle here. Needlework goes out, but Trundle is just barely fast enough in order to get out. And all of them get out in one piece. That's at least a good sign for KTT here.
Yes,
As all they need to be doing catch waves and we're all chilling.
Yes, but they're so ahead that it's mostly a statistic at this point. That Gwen just engaged, didn't care about anyone. She pressed W and Trundle was almost dead.
Exactly. And there's also Dragon coming up. It's just a choice of the way in which ARK want to win here. And they choose inhibitor, bottom inhibitor at first.
Well, Victor will probably take the mid ones if a fight is not breaking out.
Rumble ult going down, Gwen going low as well, and the Rumble ult dealing major damage, but none of ARK is dying. Roland going incredibly low, but there's still not a single death that went down until the Rumble popped from Victor ult, and that Arcane Storm is slowly getting bigger and bigger and bigger as Trundle going lower, being killed by the Aurelia, and Rel and Talia just barely firing shots back. Ezreal not getting the Q onto Rel or Ashe and overextends, resulting in a kill for KTT. Talia goes down at the hands of this Gwen, but look at that Karma Shield as the Nexus turrets go down, and the Nexus itself to follow. Rel dying, Ashe dying, and that is game 1 going to ARK in this best of 3. Wow, what a game.
Yes, it was a very, very enjoyable game, especially after ARK hit their power spikes and they started to fight more. But nonetheless, the bot lane abuse was really enjoyable.
Thank you very much for the great cast. So, Flay, I'll hear your thoughts in a second, but I was watching this game and then I thought back to how other Kentishki games have went. I was looking at the games against Chunkies, and then it was like, okay, they're quite even in kills, but there's no objectives. Then I watched last week's game. It was like, okay, they got ahead and they snowballed, and it was basically stomps. And I'm watching this game, and first of all, I like the Rumble pick. Like the draft in itself makes a lot of sense. And then I look at gameplay, it's like you have Ash Rel. Rel is playing with Spellbook. They're taking a 2v2 and giving up 2 kills like level 3. First of all, you're not supposed to fight there. The only reason you pick that is to scout the Gwen, make sure you don't get ganked. You gank top and mid, you get those lanes ahead. Once they're ahead, you can basically use the Talia wall and certain plays to transfer the lead to bottom. Ash and Rel are just in a vacuum, falling so far behind that they cannot largely even play the objective fights or the skirmishes. And then when I look at the objective setups, they have Rel roaming for grabs. They have a fairly good play for the grabs. Gwen starts it, but it's like, okay, KTT again, contest again, collapse. First of all, they don't use the Talia wall to zone anyone off. Karma gets a free roam. Rumble doesn't even have ult yet, while Rel and Trundle are already contesting. They're like going in 2v3 or 2v4, and then Arrakis punishes that. Karma comes in with the shields. They don't, none of them dies, and then Rumble gets to the fight right when his ultimate basically comes up. Talia wall isn't used, and then like 6, 7, 8 minutes later with Rift, it's basically pretty much the same thing. They go 5 people to Rift. They start it, and then they see Irelia starts pushing bottom. Instead of finishing the Rift and then TPing to cover, they basically TP away first, and then they put themselves in a 4v5 because now Irelia can TP from bot lane to top, and then again they lose another objective fight. And from there, a lot of the times they were just getting caught or taking like bad fights around objectives instead of looking for picks and playing around vision. So first of all, like I have to give credit to Roland because even though his matchup didn't go too well on Irelia, he had a lot of impact on side, and then I don't think KTT really knew how to deal with that. Picking between like answering side and looking for the team fights, they struggled that with that. And also KTT bot lane really needs to step up because you need to minimize losses. If you're gonna pick a matchup like that, you need to understand what the early win conditions are. And also KTT as a whole needs to set up much better around objectives. And I think that's what's going to decide like the rest of the games as well for me. Flay, what do you think?
Yeah, I would have to agree with that for sure. I think the plan, or at least the draft preparation that they went into the game, looked really solid, and then kind of the execution around objectives was a bit more rough, and especially when your top side is doing quite well, I would say. With the Rumble pick looking really solid, quite comfortable. It's a shame that you can't then like transition that into these bigger team fights when you're like met with a Victor that's doing really well, the Gwen doing forming well as well once the power spikes came in. Yeah, it's kind of hard. I feel like maybe for next game if they can try to stabilize the bot lane and then perhaps keep mid still on somewhat of a utility pick, because I feel like the Talia could definitely work out. If you have someone like a Galio or something similar, you could keep that up. And then around, yeah, what was it? What was for you the marker in this game that you kind of went like, oh, it's going downhill?
To be fair, it was the second, well, not the second, but the Rift Herald fight was pretty much the main thing because, as I said, with the Grubs, they lost that skirmish because of poor setup, and then they did the same thing, only worse, on the Rift Herald.
Mhm.
And from there, they just like, even if they had like a good pick or a good play, they always like stayed maybe 2k behind, and from there, a lot of the fights just went poorly from them. At one point, they just kind of stopped being proactive and not know how to deal with the Irelia side. So the Galio pick you mentioned is actually really good because I feel like Galio, Nocturne, these types of picks with semi-globals are really good to deny or or at least try to shut down side. So I would like to see something like that come in from mid lane perhaps, and then try to maybe force both teams to play more towards team fights and away from side, because it feels like KTT struggles with the side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you make a good point. I'm trying to figure out what kind of champs we could still incorporate. The Ornn is still open, of course. That could be a great pickup for more of the team fight based. Yeah, but to be fair, like KT had a good team fighting comp, I feel. And then on the side, yeah, they kind of struggled, but the Rumble was still sort of fine. So if you could like opt into more of a 1-4 play style, I think that should be.
Yeah. First of all, 4-1 is probably the best to play in the meta. You usually want like engage from either jungle or support. You don't necessarily want it from top, because top cannot always be with the team. Jungle and support can always move around and even link up around the objectives. Top is a lot more reliant on whether you play like a clearing side laner, you clear hover, and then at one point you join the fight, or you have a pressuring side who can create pressure, force the opposing top under his turret, so he has to respond, and you as the pressuring side can always move first, maybe look for flanks, but that puts pressure on the opposing team to basically like choose between like, how do we play around the objective? Can we take position? Do we need to contest? And the top needs to start moving. Like there's more moving parts, whereas the one with the pressure on side can always dictate the map. So I don't necessarily mind like a pick like Rumble that can, when he's ahead, he can pressure a little bit in lane as well, but maybe something that can either play side and pressure, or something like Galio that can shut it down, play for picks. Because as you said, they had a good team fighting comp, but if you have a good team fighting comp, you also need to have good setups around objectives, and you need to take care of side lane waves so that you can actually get a good team fight and play off of that. Because many times it felt like they had a poor setup. They tried to get the kills more than the setup, and then when a Rockies matched that or didn't give them the early kills, then the whole like setup or fight just fell apart.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, I completely agree. I think even if you want to play for the fight, then you indeed still need to do some sort of setup so you can like figure out what the best angle is for your comp and how to play around the objective. And yeah, I'm quite curious if they can already like improve on that between game 1 and game 2, because it is sort of like one of those fundamental skills, I think. Preparing objectives, having waves set up for that, having vision set up for it, and kind of trying to find the best way of entering the objective as well, and which ultimates the chain. I think that's a very important skill, because oftentimes the fights around objectives, or even the objectives themselves, are like such game-winning pieces in order to like throw the game in your favor.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Because sometimes you can even give up like an objective, but if you get a really good team fight, maybe you can get waves or another objective off of that fight, and then even though you maybe get like a Drake or Grubs, maybe the other team gets like a 2k lead from just one sequence, and then you still play from behind even though you got the objective. So just being a lot more mindful about the setups. If you can't really contest the objective itself, maybe play for the contest after the objective, or even look for cross maps, right? Let's say you don't have a good setup, maybe someone is late with tempo, doesn't have the item spike, you can always look to do something else cross map, and you don't really have to commit to the same objective the opponent is playing.
Mm-hmm. Yep, 100%. Because that's also part of because you do see they're trying to contest it because they realize it is important to like take, but a lot of teams also just opt into the cross map indeed, and that kind of skips over a lot of the skills you need to kind of like do with the objective, whereas you can still keep playing on the lane that you're already playing on. You can still, it's just a matter of moving around the right pieces to the right lanes, and then go from there. So yeah, I think so. So let's say draft wise, do you think they have to change anything?
don't really think they need to draft differently. The only thing I would maybe change is that I would add someone either in top or mid that can side lane and maybe have like one champion that uses scaling insurance. For example, on Arrakis we saw the Victor come in. I would like to see something similar from Kentishki. So either
Mhm.
pick something like Galio that can shut down the side lane, or pick something that can side lane itself and then slightly clean up the execution in the early mid game, so you get a lead from the laning phase and then you can try to start snowballing that.
Yep. No, that sounds good. All right, let's throw it over to the draft with the casters, and we'll see what they pull out for us.
Awesome.
And we are back. We are going to be jumping straight into it as KTT chose the red side for their second game. And the first two bans already looking like a repeat of the first game in the Caitlyn Pantheon banned out by ARK and the Viego by KTT.
I recall right, it is an actual repeat. It's Caitlyn, Viego, and then Pantheon. And Darius is coming. If I remember right, the next one should be Nautilus. Let's see if I'm...
I actually forgot to comment on it, but even though that I believe KTT did practice Nautilus, the KTT jungler didn't actually have one game, even though his performance in those warm-up games on the Nautilus weren't that bad themselves. But here it is. Do we get it again? Ooh.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to it, and it looks like, do it!
Putting
I like to be right.
on the Nautilus's name. Unfortunate that we don't get to see it today. I personally haven't seen much of the new Nautilus jungle, but if ARK think it to be scary enough, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, could be annoying enough if you if you're talking about big potential and especially the gank one after you get to level 6, it's probably like a guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
And Kaiser, it looks like it's exactly the same. Do I remember incorrectly? But I think it is actually the same dance.
It is, I believe, bar for bar if Kaisi gets banned out here. And she does. ARK to blind pick, and immediately blind picks the Yunara. Very exciting. We don't actually, or as far as I know, ARK's mid laner ADC doesn't play as much Yunara. There have been a couple of games here or there. Very good in pro play, and Zeri also.
Are we looking towards Zeri Yumi?
That is usually what gets taken. I don't think I'd be upset with Zeri and any other enchanter. I would hope that they pick the enchanter here. I believe KTT's support would likely play something like Nami, but Yumi is of course what's expected with Zeri. And no, wrong on both enchanters. It is not locked in just yet. Okay, pre-firing.
Yes,
there
but
it is.
Lulu actually seems to work really well, and Milo, it's a great matchup into Lulu, so it's gonna be locked in. Both bot lanes are looking very snowbally at this moment, so...
And I am also very interested. It is also worth mentioning that like I said, I believe pocket picks at this level are a lot more valuable, and Lulu and Milio for both of these players. I haven't seen their competitive history, but or at the very least in solo queue, neither of these supports get picked out for either of the team supports. And there's also the Wukong coming through for ARK.
I think now you should pick Jarvan if you are on KTT's side, because you want a strong ganking and also with potential to teamfight jungle. Nocturne is not that bad either, because you want to set your bot lane behind. They're looking very snowball, and I would throw a blind call there, and I'll say that the bot lane that's getting ahead early is probably going to win the game.
Yep. So both teams with a very similar game plan here. I think the only other and Orianna being banned out by KTT. I feel like Orianna would be something KTT would want to pick up, especially on core. Interesting ban here.
Oh, especially with Nocturne would be a really great combo.
As I was saying, the team comp that I can imagine for a scaling bot lane and a utility jungler is something more like a tanky top laner, kind of like Renekton, I suppose, but like an Ornn or a Cassante, if either of these two top laners played, and a mage mid lane control, probably like the Orianna, but I'm assuming both teams want to throw most of those out of the window to at least get something a little bit deeper into both of their champ pools.
I'm also looking forward to Galio from ARK's side, now with Wukong, and probably a possible Avengers moment onto the KTT's boss side.
Mm-hmm. We do have one more ban for the side of KTT. I think... never mind. Yeah, like I said, Ornn just going to be banned away here. Very good blinds that both teams have banned away. And KTT kind of forced into this to make sure that, I believe what the Ornn at the very end here is saying is that they want to pick mid on 4 and then reserve counter pick until the very end. Or in top lane.
Yes, it looks like such. I'm also wondering what the last ban would be.
And Syndra, another control. Oh, spoke too soon. And Ahri.
Ahri, okay.
But Ahri also a good blind pick. If they're securing the top counter pick, then they want to get rid of mid blind pick. So this Ahri ban making a lot of sense here. But it is still, if my read is correct, it is on mid to pick here. There's Galio, a very good blind, decent blind. Jace, perhaps, if... Or, sorry, I was looking at the ARK's mid laner.
A Matrox pick, which is nice. I can see that. I can actually see the Atrox. I can see him as a strong laner, which is good, and also have a nice potential into team fights. It's hard to take him down. You have to pay attention to him, otherwise he might hijack the team fight, which... Following the last game where the top lane from KTT performed well in, I feel like it's a great pick and it suits him. And we're gonna see the Galio from the ARK side, and yes, in my opinion, it's a great pick, especially with Wukong, and it might guarantee that if KTT's bot lane is winning the lane, at some point you might have a way to stop them from snowballing, especially with a 4-man gank.
Has Hui to be locked in as KTT's mid laner here, and yeah, the only difference to recipe that I kind of see here is the fact that both tops are a lot more skirmish heavy. This Mbessa and Wukong, a very clear path to want to go straight into the back, and Galio just following up in order to completely blow it up. And honestly, KTT having the exact same thing, but they want it a bit more front to back, as if Nocturne goes straight to the back, then Aatrox and Hui have a bit of a difficult time following up on that. So
yes, this is what I'm sensing too. I feel like Hui, it's a bit off synergy there. I think it got picked because of the Galio mid, but I think it's gonna be pretty hard to pilot in team fights.
I wonder.
Sorry, Sorry.
Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Yeah, I wanted to finish that, especially that Lulu can take care both of Hui and Zeri, and if you're getting engaged on, she will have to pick who's gonna save.
But we do also, or at the very least, I see that Hui is one of the KTT's mid laner most comfortable champions, at the very least highest win rate in solo duo, and I put a lot of stock into that. So it should at least signify some level of comfort in lane, and if this Hui can get ahead, then all of what I said before doesn't really matter either, because yeah, I mean, the only person that would be able to stop him is Galio, and if Galio falls behind majorly, the only thing that would be able to stop him is maybe a little bit of the tankiness of Wukong, or catching this Hui off guard. It can be very dangerous one ahead, but what is dangerous one ahead when this bot lane exists, when in both the Zeri and Yunara? Like you said ages before, it's just whoever of these two ADCs gets ahead, is it usually a very good indication of who's going to take the game.
I feel like we should ask our analysts too what they're thinking about these drafts, and what do you think about it, Panda?
Yeah, I've really nothing more to say about the comps. Otherwise, I would like to take it to the analysts as well. Take it away, analysts.
Thank you very much, guys. I'll see if Play is here as well, but I can give you my thoughts on the draft first. So, Yonara first pick, I expected Kentishki to match the scaling, so Zeri Lulu makes a lot of sense. I would have perhaps liked the Zeri Milio more, just to not get handicapped in the range department. Wukong Nocturne make a lot of sense, as I said before with Play. I expected to see something that can shut down the side, so Nocturne, Galio both fall in that category. Seeing the Nocturne really logical first rotation, kind of for both sides. Maybe the Lulu Milio should have been the other way around, so that Milio can be denied and you have more range on the Kentishki side. Then second rotation, Orianna Pan should be something that comes from Arrakis first of all, because there's only two picks really you're looking for. You're looking either Orianna or Galio. That's when kind of what you want to pair with Nocturne and in that draft, right? So banning Orianna makes sense if you're looking for Galio and don't want to give Orianna the lane priority early. Then it's like, okay, if you ban Orianna, Renekton ban comes from the other side. Renekton signals they're looking for Ambessa. Then I'm looking, okay, Ornn and Ahri. On 4, there's two picks that are open, which is Galio and Ambessa. Kentishki should take one of them, which is like, okay, you set up for a Galio with the Orianna ban. I don't know why you wouldn't pick Galio, first of all. And then Ambessa is like, if you want to deny it because of the Renekton ban, there's no real like good lane counter that can ban it. So you should take one, Arrakis gets the other, and then there's two variable picks that can be different. When I saw Kentishki take the Aatrox, so even though I know the Aatrox for the top laner works and he has had good games on it, giving Ambessa and Galio both, I basically went, okay, that's draft kingdom for Arrakis. I don't see really how they can lose with that draft, I'll be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a bit of a tough one. I'm a bit in doubt about how they eventually devolved into the Nocturne pick, for instance, is it's an interesting one for me. I've seen them pull it out before, I think, and it's nice when you have an Aatrox for the side lane pressure. I think that will probably help out a lot. I don't know for the team fights if it will do any good, but that's where you got the Zeri Lulu for, you got the Hui for, you got their Aatrox for as well. But on the other side, they have so many good answers with the Ambessa, with the Galio, with the Galio Wukong kind of for the setup. And Yunara is just so strong right now that I don't know if Zeri Lulu is going to be enough to kind of match that front to back, especially with the extended range from Milio. It's a tough one. It's a tough one for me.
I'm gonna elaborate or try to get your opinion on one of your own points. So Aatrox and Nocturne can play side quite well. If Aatrox gets ahead, you have the Nocturne to support, maybe hover, you have the semi-global, can shut down the lights and whatnot. The same thing goes for Ambessa Galio. They can do a similar thing. It kind of depends on who gets ahead early and who picks the right plays in the right moments, like doesn't overextend on side, make sure the vision and the semi-global ultimate is up at the time of the play. But also based on game 1, Kentishki bot lane really struggled. So if both teams start playing towards top mid to get the top lane and the side lane ahead, even though bot lane should be basically like a handshake where both scale, they play the skirmishes, maybe roam or lane swap for the objectives, but if you recall to game 1, what if Arrakis bottom lane just gets ahead and basically takes over the team fights?
Sorry?
If Arrakis bot lane gets ahead and takes over the team fights?
Yeah.
Because we saw Kentishki bot lane struggle in game 1, and that
Mhm.
was not a similar matchup in that sense, but still, like Milio's gonna have the range, Yunara is probably stronger.
Mhm.
So if they don't play it right and play around the jungler, make sure they minimize losses early, play the objectives right, then I feel like Araki bot lane can just get ahead early and take over in that sense.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're completely right. I think that's kind of what I'm afraid of as well. Because both mid and top can kind of stabilize and be fine, but I don't know if they have enough punishing tools to get the Yunara Milio behind or even like match it in that sense. Because the Wukong is going to be quite an active role, pre-6 even. And I think the Nocturne is a bit more passive, full clear wise. And then it's more about picking your exact right moments and having the patience. But I'm going to end it there. We will throw it over to the casters as the game starts.
Thank you very much. We are back and bigger than ever. And yeah, nothing crazy happening level 1. Both teams decide to spread out. Wukong chasing the Nocturne there a bit.
Maybe he wants to ward the Raptors? Or
Nope. Just there for the love of the game. And there's also the red egg on Nocturne. I suppose not so much caring about the movement speed later in the game, just the extra burn. And just across the board, everything relatively expected. All the rune pages, the same everywhere. The only difference being, of course, the Hui preferring Arcane Comet to harass the Galio, and the Galio with Phase Rush in order to get away.
also very strong in teamfights after you're throwing Q and E. With an auto, you're proccing it, and the W will certainly gonna hit on even multiple people.
Hmm. And I believe now it's I don't know if Taperidze did this in the last game as well, but the Raptor start on the Nocturne, I believe he is going to end up 8 camping into in order to hit his ultimate power spike as fast as possible. So maybe not going to be going for as much ganks in the early game here. Wukong also planning on pathing bot here. So maybe there is going to be at the very least some sort of interaction from these two junglers at level 3 in the bot lane here.
Or if not in the bot lane, probably to Scuttle. Might see a Scuttle fight.
And yeah, even though they are both pathing bot, Zeri, Lulu, Yunar, Milio, you don't expect that much to happen. So Scuttle fight probably will be the most interesting thing that will come of that. We do also have both top laners, I suppose, begrudgingly taking grass, but I suppose that makes sense. I just would have liked to see some other type of runes to, at the very least, indicate, yes, I want to go more in than just handshake the grass stacks and be on their way.
Yeah, but once you're thinking of it, do you really want to fight that much when you know that your bot lane is going to dictate you the game? If you are on the Ambassador side, I can understand it perfectly. Since you have Galio, you will have most likely more, how to call it, more chances of winning the bot lane. You're going to get more impact from your mid laner. It's easier for him to impact it rather than Hui. But from Ambassador side, from
Nocturne on
Aatrox
the
side,
wood here. And Wukong does manage to smite it away, and Galio going for the follow-up. Wukong just barely out of range to kill the Nocturne here, and that was a very good effort by ARK here, but not being able to close it out here. Hui
now
going
Hui's in
back in
trouble.
after. And Hui manages to get out as well.
Oh,
And
the
the
hit!
very end of the queue, first blood going over to ARK. They would have been fine. KTT would have been fine. All they had to do was get out. As top lane, both top
Also-
laners trading here a little bit.
Also, very smart escape from Nocturne side using the Q for movement speed.
Mm-hmm. It was very unfortunate, but I think they could have at the very least anticipated it with Wukong having gone in earlier. Tower
Oh.
shot going to the way of Mbessa. Both top laners
Almost
going very
taken
low.
the second.
Both top laners do also have their flash up, so if they want to go for some crazy burst thing. Nope, not really. As oh, Ambessa
Oh, the
going in
level up
and
timer,
flashing
and
in. Flash not quite doing enough damage, and KTT Aatrox getting out with the kill in this matchup. I'm a little bit confused. Whoa, what happened there? Because Ambessa, I thought she was backing off of that, and that both of them would be full HP. I didn't know what to cast there because it happened so fast.
yes, I think that Ambessa had the first chance there, but Aatrox leveled up from the minion, and it turned up in his
Yep.
favor.
Getting a tunneler to boot off of that as well. Gonna make lane a lot more comfortable for KTT and very much needed after what happened in the bot side. Speaking of, KTT's bot side getting poked down here a little bit. There's also the call by from the Zeri to basically say, no, we're not fighting, I'm just here to farm minion waves, scale up, and pray that this lane ends up looking a little bit nicer sometime down the line.
Yes, but once the Galio and Wukong are gonna hit level 6, the dive threats will be very existent, to say so. Especially if Nocturne is gonna get spotted on the other side of the map. I
I
guess.
find it very interesting as Nocturne. Hold on, he's looking for a gank onto ARK here, but bot lane off of a successful Milio Q are completely fine, and Nocturne's going back into his jungle.
Yes, now I'm wondering how is top going to look like, because if Aatrox manages to get ahead, he might be actually annoying in team fights. So probably it's best for Ambessa to chill and just let her already ahead bot lane just.
Nocturne double dipping
Grab
there,
that
but
lead.
not getting any damage. You can't gank if the ARK's bot lane is that far up. But also, he didn't really have any camps up. Might as well spend a little bit of time there, as Wukong might be able to catch him out here. No, I think both of them just barely missed each other. Oh, they do know something's up though, as neither jungler going for Dragon just yet. And Ambessa going lower and lower. This Aatrox on the hunt now, but without flash, has no way to catch up to the very mobile Ambessa.
Yes,
And
but Ambessa is probably going to miss a wave there, which just makes Aatrox life even more easier than it already is.
especially with that call by Ambessa, not what she wants, especially since Cull is just saying, okay, I got killed very early on. I need to calm down now. And we take a breather here. I forgot to mention it earlier, but Galio's rejuvenation bead, the little green bead thing, I wonder what that goes into. Like, Galio's normally by, what is it, Hollow Radiance here, but I don't know if that's what you... Does it rejuvenation bead build into that as Nocturne? Gonna mess a bit with Wukong here, but Wukong does have ultimate, so... The rest of KTT looking to follow up, but Galio just gonna be escorting him out, and Wukong will invest the ult. In
That
order
was
to
good
make a
hover
safe
from
escape.
Lulu. Especially since she arrived first. If Milio would have been here a little bit faster, I don't think the fight would have looked such favorable for KTT. Now both teams are looking towards grubs.
Yep.
They might be in trouble if they're spotted because Wukong has no ult. While Nocturne has and also has the red buff.
They do have ARK do have 2 grubs now as Nocturne getting lower and lower. The fear does manage to land, and Ambessa ulting in the middle of nowhere. Aatrox gonna follow up after that, and Nocturne getting the kill onto Ambessa, flashing out to avoid Galio taunt. Wukong trying to get a little bit of damage onto the Lulu, but there's no one there to follow him up, and all of them flash out to safety as KTT managed to pick up a kill and the final grub. It's not the worst thing in the world for ARK, but that felt like a very disjointed team fight from them. They did end up getting the prize of 2 grubs, but handing that kill over from the Ambessa, especially where that Ambessa was ulting, is not what you want to see.
Yes, I think she might have mistaken the champion for Yon, but I don't think I don't think he know that the ultimate doesn't work like Yon's does. So
Maybe
That's a bit
maybe
unfortunate.
maybe Mbessa thought she was playing Yone. I don't know, but best to not bring too much attention. It's like -1. It happened.
Yeah.
We move on. As this Galio has honestly been doing pretty well for himself, at the very least, putting a lot of pressure onto this way. As Zeri ulting to try to get away from an ulted Yunara here as well. A bunch of
Yes.
trading back and forth. Nocturne coming for the backup here. Yunara and Milio both way too far up, but Yunara on the chase on the Zeri. But a TP coming in, I believe, from the Hui here. Galio trying to follow up for the Yunara as well. And Nocturne ticking lower and lower. No one going down just yet. Hui
Oh, it's
managing to land on the Yunara. I thought that went completely wide. And Yunara finally goes down with KTT claiming feats of warfare. Hui going in for seconds. And Galio just barely getting out with his life. Oh my goodness, both teams on such low HPs for so long. And off that miracle Hui ult, I was convinced that that didn't land.
Yes, but I feel that ARK's bot lane played it very, very well. They knew that Nocturne doesn't have ult, used it at grabs. They tried to stay very, very away from Nocturne by using the...
And this ult going down onto Aatrox here. World Ender going down in response, but Aatrox getting the favor in this trade. Sorry, the favor in this trade. That was a trade. I can't speak. It's just over for me. My career as a caster, I might as well call it quits. Anyway.
Don't worry, but we're looking for a dive as well here, and I think it's going to happen.
Maybe. Aatrox is very low HP himself, and this Mbessa is still deceptively tanky, especially now after leveling up. You were saying before I interrupted you.
Yes, I feel very, how to say so, confident about ARK's bot lane because they played it really, really well. They spaced out Nocturne so well by using the wall. They know they don't have ult. And the only problem was that Wukong was not there. It was the only problem for ARK because I feel like otherwise they would have definitely won the team fight.
A bunch of ults going down in the team fight that we just witnessed, none of them resulting in a kill. There was Yunara, there was Nocturne, but again, it's just the 4v4 strength of both of these teams. A little bit disjointed like we saw before.
Yes,
That
but...
Nocturne had to walk a little bit before he ended up managing to get onto the Yunara Milio, and yeah, I suppose off of that, ARK are just going to go on the Dragon and KTT. They do know that they're on this. It's up to them to see if they want to contest it.
I don't think they will because Hui doesn't have TP and he's also staying bot very low, so it's not wise to try to contest it.
Even more than that, the Nocturne in the top side, they don't even have Smite to contest this. That is also a good point. I did just read in the chat, Hextech has been reworked here. I do think the changes did land completely neutral, because Nocturne was also, I believe, preemptively nerfed in order to make sure that Nocturne lands power neutral. Because let's be real, Hexplate was only ever bought for the Nocturne, but because he was able to get so far ahead, Nocturne this game, and be able to buy Hexplate this earlier than Wukong has, who now has Triforce, he is probably going to get a lot more value out of it than he would have had in the previous patches. So that is a very good call out.
Yes, I also feel that his picks on side lanes are going to be really more potent now. He's going to output really, really more damage. And talking about how squishy Yunara is, I think you might want to try to look for their bot lane.
Nocturne did have ult there, didn't want to pull the trigger just yet since Milio was playing from really far back. And also in the meantime, I guess I never really call it out, but this Sway Dark Seal, 3 stacks. If there is an angle, there is a future in which KTT does get a Magi here.
I'm very optimistic about the Aatrox at this point. He's having Sundered Sky. He will be decently tanking team fights, especially if it procs it on multiple people. So if I were in ARK's shoes now, I don't think I would like to team fight that
Wukong
much.
ult going down onto the Hui taking lower and lower, going down, and Nocturne ult just out of range. in order to help the Hui get out of there. I thought that Nocturne ult was originally for the bot lane. As Nocturne re-engages with the help of Lulu ultimate, Wukong ticking lower and lower, and so is the Nocturne. But like I said, Lulu ult, never mind. With the help of one final Galio Q and a couple of Wukong autos, Nocturne goes down as well. And it's a disaster for KT. I believe there was even, I don't see a shutdown in chat, but they did have a shutdown a little while before this. But ARK finally getting back to the game on top of the dragon they got earlier.
I think that Nocturne was away when Hui got engaged on, so I don't think he should have actually tried to counterplay that. It was good that you got Galio's ult away. You traded it for your ult. It's half decent to say so, but he underestimated the damage coming from Wukong, especially now that he has Triforce. And I think he underestimated his passive as well, that grants him a lot of armor and health regeneration.
Three Dark Seal stacks were not enough. Rest in peace, Magi Dreams. Wukong going on to Hui one more time.
I think he's dead here, especially with his W. He has
Going
flash,
down
but
and flashing out under turret. It's gonna just barely be enough. Galio auto-attacking him down, and Aatrox TP going there to try and kill the Galio. Manages to successfully get the kill. There we go. And this Aatrox, 2 kills. That is slowly getting scarier and scarier. Oh no, Nocturne all onto the Wukong clone. Does Wukong
he
manage
might
to
be
get
able
out?
to catch him off though.
And yeah, Fear in the opposite direction. Wukong
Gonna let
be
the kill
taken
to
out.
Zeri.
And very good for the Zeri here as well. I do believe she does plan on going Yuntal here. I believe that's what the components lead up to, that she has in her pocket.
Yes, and I feel like it's the better choice. It's very great item for scaling. Once you're getting into late game and you're proccing the Yuntal's passive, you are very, very strong in teamfight. You just can't be ignored.
3 members of ARK going in onto the Nocturne here, and Nocturne just immediately getting it blown up. It flashes over the wall, but gets burned from, I believe, red buff or a burn. Aatrox left fending for himself in the Rift Herald pit. ARK managing to take the Rift Herald, and Yunara flashing away from this Aatrox. Aatrox managing to get out himself, and surprisingly no more kills going down, as Mbessa just returning back into the top lane. And that was very unfortunate, where Aatrox and Nocturne both tried to immediately blow up the Rift Herald, but they just didn't have the damage, and that gave ARK ample time in order to come back and pick up both the kill and the Rift Herald itself.
Yes, but if I were on ARK's side, I would be really concerned at this point, because nobody was able to burst Aatrox, and he was pushing your Yunara deeper and deeper behind. The only reason the kills didn't fall is because Nocturne was already dead, which is a bit scary to think about.
Yeah, I mean, if Aatrox doesn't go down, eventually this Lulu doesn't even have to play entirely around the Zeri, who now also does have the Yuntal built. Because I do believe Spirit Visage is eventually is an item that you want to build as this Aatrox, and with the Lulu that's going to feel incredibly good, as Rift Herald going to be bumping and taking the first turret for the side of ARK, and Wukong finding a fight here in Nocturne's jungle. And this Wukong, say what you want about ARK, but the Wukong has been entirely oppressive to this Nocturne the entire game long, and the Rift Herald getting another proc off on the bot tier 1 here. This Noc is not having quite as great of an early game. Mbessa going on to the Lulu.
Lulu will have to flash here.
Or just ulting and trying to turn with the Aatrox here, as
Miller's getting caught as well.
a little bit lower. Nocturne ult going down to Erno, just as a defensive, making sure that Galio isn't seen by his teammates, and Aatrox going for the kill onto the Yunara. Yunara dashing away, but is it going to be enough? Milio Q lands, and I think now Aatrox just has to back off. Yunara can do a little bit of gliding, as no, Aatrox goes back in. Lulu flashing out of completely nowhere. Wukong coming in for Zeri in the back line, and almost gets it. Lulu shield not going to be enough in order to, and Wukong gets both of the kills here. Wukong going to be finally trying to take down this Aatrox. Aatrox standing his ground, but it's not going to be enough. It's 4 versus 1, and ARK are completely feasting in this team fight.
Wukong played it very smart there because he knew that he can't fight Aatrox straight away. He's gonna heal up so much, but he waited. He just didn't show himself, and then once Lulu wanted to help her top lane, Wukong saw the chance and just collapsed onto the Zeri.
Yeah, I was getting dizzy trying to keep track of everyone where everyone was.
Yes, but I think this is the only play that wins there for ARK.
Mm-hmm. And it is also just their general game plan. Galio, Wukong in the back line, and then just go from there. Aatrox be damned. We don't even need to focus Aatrox. Go straight to the Zeri Lulu.
Yes, but who is gonna kill Aatrox once if something happens to Yunara? Because I feel like he's really strong at this point. Well, was before he got the last fight. Now I feel like there are multiple people that can actually match Aatrox.
And Aatrox is a little bit behind in comparison to this Mbessa and Wukong now, who are both on their second items at the very least. And yeah, the gold pretty much says it all. Wukong and Mbessa really where ARK is shining right now. But we can't discount the fact that KTT's bot side do eventually have better scaling, or at least that's my read from Yunara as a champion, especially since everyone realized a while ago that it's not Yunta that you want to build, it's either Kraken or Bork. And I mean, Zeri still has a ways to go, but with this Lulu, she should feel very comfortable as Wukong going in on this Lulu having to ult herself just to be safe. Nocturne defensively ulting. Galio ult not gonna get too much done. Wukong trying to find the Nocturne, but nothing much more gonna happen. Never mind, the entire map is gonna blow up. Wukong slowly rattling down the Nocturne. Nocturne going down. Wukong still in the back line as KTT is slowly getting dismantled. The only one dying being the Yunara. But who needs to answer this Mbessa taking down the Lulu, almost taking down the Hui, and Aatrox and Hui, the only ones left under the turret. As Wukong going back in, Galio finishing them off as Wukong tanking the turret. Oh my goodness, KTT just fending for their lives, and ARK finally cashing out the gold differences in their wallets. And also just, for me at the very least personally, their better team comp. I mean, this Wukong, I don't know how he does it. He's a magician. All of a sudden you don't see him, bang, he's in the back line.
Yes, and he's actually getting very good value for his ultimate. I would like to call that the Nocturne ult was a little bit weird. He wanted to scare them, but he couldn't engage, and I think ARK knew that Nocturne can't engage because otherwise Galio would answer it. And he did, he ulted, and after that it was a very great executed dive. They know that they are ahead, their bot lane are mostly were similar in terms of gold. So they just said, okay, we will trade the bot lanes, you can kill our Yunara, we will take your Zeri, but after that, there is no way for you to win the team fight. Aatrox is gonna be annoying, but Nocturne is behind. He only has one item, which is not defensive at all. We are gonna get bursted by everyone.
Yeah, really unfortunate from the side of KTT here. I do understand the will to defensively ult as Nocturne, as did Nocturne not have vision of the Mbessa, or did he already ult in on the Mbessa? Aatrox whittling the Mbessa lower and lower, but she isn't dying. Never mind, Lulu ult going down, and now this Mbessa is completely dead. Tick, 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 boom. Oh, Aatrox Q didn't land, now it landed, and that's a shutdown going straight back into Aatrox. Some much needed momentum for the side of KTT.
Gonna get traded though for the mid tier 2. I still think it's worth for KTT there, but the counterplay will make the goal difference not budge that much.
And now bot tier 2 gonna fall down as well. Another Hui ult landing, but it's only gonna be on the Yunara here. Millia ult going down here as well. Nocturne ult not gonna be able to re-engage here, as Wukong getting a lot of damage with his ult as well. But it's kind of just like showing abilities for the fact that you have the ability itself. This Wukong still is doing major damage for no kills having been thrown down.
I think he just wanted to bail out his team that, in my opinion, pretty much overextended for the tower. He wanted just to zone out. He knows he's pretty tanky, he's ahead, he deals a lot of damage.
Ambessa ulting onto the Nocturne, Galio ult coming straight in afterwards, but all of KTT is already out except for the kill onto the Nocturne. And I think that's about as good as ARK is going to get it. I think both teams were very nervous that a lot more was going to happen there than actually did.
And it's gonna be a free take for ARK side. Jungler is dead, you're ahead. I feel like Yunara is gonna go top and grab some more waves as well, and it's those waves are gonna stack in favor of Yunara.
Yeah, the Ambessa damage going to be melting through Hui, and unfortunate, but Hui needed to back with the rest of his team there. He can't solo side lane, especially with the amount of space that ARK now have in the bot side jungle.
Also, as a Hui, you're really easy to catch. You're not mobile. Your only hope is to hit your E, which against
It happened, but-
Ambessa.
Yeah, it happened, but 2 versus 1, you only get that on one champion. And unfortunately, it wasn't enough. As now ARK just have their choice of how they want to proceed. They already took bot tier 2, but Baron is up now, and both teams should have eyes on that. KTT to steal and ARK to hopefully close it out with almost a 7k gold lead here between the two teams.
I think what you want to do if you're in ARK shoes now is to try to get some picks with Wukong ult. You can't want to fight straight away at the Baron, but I don't think that you really want to flip it because it's still losable. It's a lot of gold difference, but Nocturne is annoying, and one ult with from Hui inside the pit might change the curse of the team fight a lot. And you're also having Zeri that is jumping around. I don't think a flip is a good thing, but maybe some picks and a trap would be the way to go.
You need to look for something as Wukong now separating the Nocturne, Lulu, and Nocturne
I think that's
ulting
game
defensively once again, but Wukong just taking down the Lulu slowly, Nocturne going down, Lulu going down, and the rest of KTT spend running for their lives, but Hui goes down, Zeri soon to follow, and Aatrox, the best member of KTT playing this game, world ender just to get away. He's not world ending, he's world scrambling, and this Wukong is gonna scramble this Aatrox's face. Oh, just barely hangs on. Wukong not gonna chase under Nexus turrets, but
Yes, but it's not
Very
like
close
it
try.
matters anymore. I think that was game winning from Wukong. Very smart again, going from behind, splitting the KTT side into two parts, catching Nocturne and Lulu. In my opinion, Wukong is the MVP for ARK in this game too.
8-1-6. What an absolute scoreline. 700G bounty, and well, if we want to entertain the idea that KT can get back into this game, it needs to be killing this Wukong, but just knowing his limits every single time you pan to this Wukong, he's inside of Nocturne's jungle, trying to fish out for whatever camps he can, trying to see if there's any backline carries he can instantly ult onto. Yeah, this Wukong played incredibly well, and ARK not instantly gonna pull the trigger on trying to kill the Nexus here, as Baron is still up, and they can still take a bit more of their time pushing out lanes.
And again, watch the Nocturne and Lulu. I think Lulu is gonna get caught again here by Yunara and Galio.
As Yunara still walking with the Galio here. It's a 3v3, but Zeri and Ambessa are tussling mid, which Ambessa gets out on top of. And
I don't think there is
Ambessa
a way
whittling
for
down
Ambessa to lose that.
Aatrox. It's level up, items up, and Aatrox is going to go down. A clean double kill for the Ambessa here. Doesn't show up as a double kill for whatever reason. And all Lulu and Hui can do is try and take him out here. That shielding on the Ambessa, though, incredibly insane. But finally,
Nocturne
Nocturne comes down, and the Ambessa goes away. Baron buff being transferred to the minion at the very last second, as ARK was able to catch that out at the very end. But
Very
now,
great value from Ambessa there. Kill
ARK,
the ADC, the top
Yep.
lane.
ARK
ARK is
just trying
getting
to
everything
finish it
now.
off. The Baron buff minions marching down the center. If they really want to, they could wait out one more minute if they don't want to end just yet in the face of this Hui and Zeri, but Yeah, Yunara is just going to be top side. I think that's what they're going to do. They're just going to wait until the Symbessa is back up. There's nothing that they need to risk here, especially in a position as confident as theirs. Nocturne not going to be up for another couple more seconds. They can also be certain of that.
They can also try to get the Drake, especially now that they will have the soul. And that's why it's gonna be back up. And after that, it's most certainly a team fight win for ARK. I don't see any way that KTT might win, because even if you play perfectly, you are so behind. Almost 12k gold.
And honestly, I think this might even go back to draft, where it was just a question of you have to pick, I feel, Galio or Oriana with this Nocturne pick. Otherwise, the Nocturne picks on 3 here makes no sense whatsoever. As no Dragon needed, ARK is just going to be looking to push in these waves and push in the win. Waves being taken out, the final inhibitor for the side of KTT falling, and all of them left huddling under their Nexus turrets.
For me, it's also the Hui pick, as I said at the start. It feels off synergy for me. It doesn't feel like it's the way you want to play the game if you are on KTT's side.
And that is kind of what ended up happening. He did a good job bullying in lane, but not even that. Honestly, I think it was just keeping up good CS in lane. The Galio felt like he got the winning end of most of the trades that happened there, as one Nexus turret goes down, and Bessa ult goes wide, Nocturne and Aatrox trying to ult one final time to save KTT, but the Aatrox is slowly getting whittled further down and down, as Wukong clone being Hui ulted, but it just won't matter. ARK completely ripping off KTT and finishing off this series a clean 2-0.
Well played from both of the teams. It was a nice series. In the end, was won by ARK, but they were both two great games.
And especially this Wukong in. The stream, we need to like come up with conversations until this my second monitor tells me the stream audio is back. Hello. What do you? Oh, okay.
We're back.
Okay, second monitor got me. I think we have the audio back. Okay, we run that back one more time. The question I posed, El Chio Bandante, is the MVP on the side of ARK. Chio, take it away one more time.
Yes, again, for me, the MVP has to be the jungle. He was incredible in the first game as well for playing as Gwen. He was strong, matched Trundle very well. When he was in team fights with Ghost and ult up, he was unstoppable, healed a lot. Was very great frontline. He was immune to Ashe and Talia. He was mostly unstoppable once he had all his items and sums. And in the second game, he is undeniable the MVP for me. He flanked a lot, got a lot of picks. He stole jungle, and look at the level difference between the jungles. He was very good.
For themselves.
Great team fighter, in my opinion.
I also got word that we are going to be getting a winners interview. So in the meantime, I think we just want to let the analysts see what they had to think about this game. Chain Flay, you want to yap it up a bit, as you guys said in chat here, I see.
Yes, we do. I would like to start it off with Che. We're kind of afraid that the bot lane might get out of hand a little bit, but it seemed like they were actually able to like stabilize quite well. probably mostly because it's a enchanter matchup, so nothing too exciting happens. But also some of the pressure by the Wukong and the Nocturne was able to be absorbed. But on the other end, the Wukong getting completely out of hand, like on other places of the map, kind of. And I think that really, yeah, because Nocturne is just not really one of those brawlers where you can just continuously fight. He does really have to play around those timings of the ultimate, especially if you go hexblade first. I think you're losing a lot of value if you're not trying to perma ult on a good target, getting that attack speed afterwards, and then focusing someone down like that. And yeah, I think you predicted it early on as well that KTT might be prone to skill checks a little bit. And I think we've seen it a couple times in these fights where they kind of try to go for every fight where they kind of think it looks semi-good, but they don't necessarily have the champs to pull it off. So I think maybe a different champ could help out with that, but what do you think?
I agree with your points, and I was watching this game as I was watching the first game, and to me, KTT, the way they play really shows me why I would consider them a bottom tier team in the current standings. Like even though they were 1-1, I would still slightly lean them towards the bottom end. And the reason I say this is because there's two types of teams in team play. One is the type that goes for kills first, and once they get the kills, they're going to take objectives after. It's very similar to how you play in solo queue at most ranks. Even in higher tiers, you're still doing kind of similar. The way team play shifts at one point is teams who start setting up objectives, and once you have this objective set up, then you go for the fights if the enemy gives you a fight, or if the enemy doesn't give you a fight, then you take the objective and you basically shift to the next priority objective and you start playing the map.
Mhm.
And today, to me, it's very clear. Arrakis plays for objectives, they set them up. When there's a fight, they go for it, and if it's like someone out of position on the enemy team, they go for the pick or they go for the fight themselves. And if they have the enemy engage on them or chase them, then they also know how to kite it out, have someone join, have someone flank, and then they can turn later, which we saw when like Aatrox and Lulu were chasing the
Mhm.
Yunara in bot lane. Wukong goes for the back line. Suddenly your whole formation is split up. There's no battle lines. There's nobody to peel. You get kited out, and there's no real one target you can actually get down, and then you get ace from there. So for me, it was really interesting to see the whole series, even though it was a 2-0. Like I kind of wanted to see some fight from Kentishki and maybe even see like an upset. But ARK is really showed, first of all, that they can play really well. I think the main jungler who played today, Nikki, I believe, like I feel like he played a lot better, more proactive, more aggressive than the other jungler they had, I think, last week. And also Mr. Nick in the mid lane, like him coming in, even though Fish had a really good game on Ari, I feel like the mid lane somewhat is upgrade as well. Like the whole team plays much better. And yeah, I feel like completely deserved 2-0.
Mhm. Yep, I think so as well. Completely agree about the points having very much more playing around objectives and trying to figure out when enough is enough, and then moving on to from there. And yeah, I'm not sure about the mid lane. Maybe that helps. I do think with like the Champo, it might be a bit more iffy because maybe Fish has a bit more champs they could pull out. But it's at least nice that Arrakis has enough players to kind of swap around and still perform, right? Still have like a decent level of performing that's solid and has like a certain base understanding of the game and how they want to play. And I think that's very valuable, especially in the long run.
I think it's going to affect them, like obviously having the subs to play throughout the season, not miss any, still have like a good level of play. But thinking about maybe the second part of regular season and potentially making playoffs, I think they still should try to play with a fixed roster more because today I think with this mid jungle that was really strong. But if they keep like switching out players, then they may not have the consistency when it comes to like the top teams they go up against.
100%. I think there's a nice, it's a good startup to kind of figure out how to elevate their game up to the best they can possibly do against some of the supposedly maybe higher ranked teams that we have also seen. But now we have a bit of a winners interview with Niggy and Roland. We're gonna throw them in, and the guys have a couple questions to ask for them, and yeah, sit back, relax, and get some insight into a winner's POV.
Hello, guys.
Hello, hello. So we are being joined here by Roland and Nikki from ARK. How are you two gentlemen doing today? Or after
Really
the win,
clean.
how's the win?
Really clean, to be honest.
A lot of confidence.
We won. That is what matters.
So first things first. Yeah, I do believe you guys had two substitutes. How was working with substitutes? I believe Nick, you were one of them as well. Did you end up working just fine with the team?
Yeah. We really got along and pretty going clean with the scrims and matches. So
That's awesome to
yeah.
hear. Let's talk a little bit about draft game one then. The two things that I was specifically wondering about, the Victor pick, I don't think I've seen a lot of Victor from you, at the very least on the solo queue account that I found. And also
He's the
for the Gwen Aurelia, I thought Gwen was initially going top. Was it ever going top? And what inspired you to play Aurelia? I phrased that as one question. It's two questions. If you want to
If
go
I
first,
can,
Nick.
sorry, he's the jungle. He's not the mid laner.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Whoopsies. My bad.
Nick is mid lane. Nicky is in jungle.
Okay, my bad. I got confused because Nikki.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to get called by then?
No, Nicky is alright.
Okay. Just making sure. Sorry, my bad. Whoopsies. Run it back.
It's okay.
So in that case, just Gwen Aurelia. How was that?
We were going with like we know they were gonna draft Rumble, so we went into the draft with the idea of going Irelia, but we wanted to make it as late as possible so we don't lock ourselves to the way Irelia wants to play. I think if I didn't play like how do you say handless people? So if I didn't play like a handless person, then it would have been totally fine.
Yeah, fair enough.
It was alright. We flexed Gwen. Like it was really good into Trundle Rumble and pretty good in their bot lane comp also. So we flexed Gwen. We said like I'll play jungle, and it really worked out good. There was some fights that they didn't understand the Gwen's damage. They just went all in on me, wasted everything, didn't kill me, and the fight was lost, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. You brought back game one. At the very least, at the beginning, it looked a little bit shaky, but the power of the Gwen really did shine through, and especially the Aurelia. Even though I don't think the stats really would show the whole story, split pushing on Aurelia there definitely had its advantages later into the game. The one other thing before I hand it over to Chio Bandante, the one other thing that I want to ask for, the Nautilus ban, was it really that big of a concern? I was almost a little bit anxious to see if KTT would actually pull it out.
Okay, so the Nautilus ban was rather against our support. None of us want to see him on Nautilus.
Fair enough. And you just disguised it as a KTT.
Yes.
Of course. Okay, in that case, I have no more questions. Chio, if you want to ask yours.
Yes, I do have one. Actually, it would have been two, but I did the same confusion as well between Nick and Nicky and wanted to ask him if we're gonna see Fizz in play, but now he's the jungle, and I don't think anyone wants to see Fizz jungle. So, who are you giving the MVP of the series to?
Uh,
I think Nikki.
I won't give it myself, of course, but I think like our mid lane played really well both games and like outscaled and pretty much won the game with the whole team. It's pretty clean.
Very
Yes,
humble.
yes. To be fair, when I gave it to you, I also wanted to say that a close second would be the mid laner because his Victor game was really nice, and the second
The
game
same.
got some he also got some nice trades onto Hui and set up some picks.
Yeah, I really had great ganks and flanks with him on mid lane with Galio. Like I knew Hui cannot escape the perma CC and we'll just burst her, so we kinda destroyed mid.
Hmm. I also know that Che wants to ask a couple of questions. Hello, Che.
Yeah, thanks, Panda. First, congratulations on the 2-0. Well played.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I want to first ask, so I know Arrakis is a big organization, you have a lot of people involved, there's a lot of teams, and I saw, I think like 2 weeks ago in SLE, you had added a head coach and an assistant coach as well. Like, how much are they helping you prepare and review the games?
So about first the assistant coach, he was the support we were using. So when we did like we didn't really prepare, we just like went a bit spontaneous with the game, both this week and last week. So we just sit together like 20 minutes prior to the game and just checked OPGGs, talked about what we want to do, what we're expecting, and that was it. And about the head coach, we have prepared like a general plan for our games with him, but since his schedule is a bit busy, he is mostly not present at the games.
Yeah, I can say that too. They really help a lot, and for team comps and combos and everything that we can do, and private coaching and other stuff, they are really helpful. And yeah,
Hmm.
Fair enough. That's good to know because I was watching I think last week's games and then watching today's games, it felt like there were first of all improvements and also like for example game one having no engage still playing the composition really well. Oftentimes we don't really see that at SLE level where like easier to execute comps usually work better, whereas you were able to execute that comp really well. So I have to give credits to you as players and perhaps the coaching staff helping you with
thank
such
you.
matters as well. I have one more question before maybe Flay wants to jump in here as well. But do you have any teams that you would like to face looking forward in the split?
Well, maybe Roland. I'm new to these tourneys and everything, but I'm really curious to see other teams because 100% there is some team that will be really hard, and you got to prepare for that and other stuff.
I don't know all of the teams. Honestly, I didn't really put much energy into checking everybody. One team I know is there and is also gonna be on the same standing as us. Is the other Vitagen team. So I would love to play against them.
Yeah, I heard about them too.
Awesome. So just going with the flow then. See, rolling with the punches. Whatever team you get, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. In that case, just one final check-in with Flay. Flay, do you got any questions?
I do not have any questions. I want to congratulate you guys on the win and looking forward to more.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you so
And
much.
I will say it as well, even though because I haven't said it already. Congrats on the hard-earned win on the 2-0. And yeah, is there any final messages you want to pull out there while you have the mic?
Yes. I was flamed that I didn't give a shout out to Fish. So I wanna give a shout out to Fish. I also wanna give a shout out to Tessa, and I also wanna give a shout out to Giorgio.
Nikki, do
That's
you have
it.
any final words?
Shout out to Fish, MVP. That's
Of
it.
course. Okay. Um, hold on a second. I'm just trying to figure out what we're doing on the production side. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it for the winners interview. Thank you two gentlemen for coming on here. And yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for casting and producing and analyzing.
Mhm.
Okay, goodbye, guys.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Thanks
Bye.
for joining.
Bye.
All right, I do believe we have one final segment about upcoming games, although I don't know about the upcoming matches, so I will hand it back over to the analysts. I think this will be the last of me as well. Chio Bandante, if you want to also say goodbye one final time.
Yes, goodbye, friend. Thank you for
Okay.
being here. I hope you enjoyed the game.
Yes, and that's all from me as well.
Thank you very much, guys, for guesting. You can still hang out if you want to, but that's up to you. I was just looking at the upcoming matches for Sunday because I feel like a lot of the other matches and also the matches between the 2-0 teams are scheduled for Sunday evening.
hmm
Flay, have you looked at any? Do you have any that you?
I have looked at a couple, yeah. I think there's not necessarily the most like based on some previous experience. I don't think there's going to be the most exciting, like even matchup yet. But I think that's kind of how Swiss is made anyway. That later on in the weeks we're going to see the more hype matchups, and early on you're just going to have some like mismatches here and there. But yeah, we'll potentially be streaming on Sunday as well, so keep an eye out for announcements on that. Probably around 8 or 7 in the evening. Not 100% confirmed, but yes, we definitely hope to see you guys there. Do you have any final remarks?
Oh, that's it for me. I was only looking at the 2-0 matches, and then I realized that Vitagen and Nebula both have substitutes from what I know. Then looking at the other 2-0 2-0 match, it's Eternal Blizzard against Silver Phoenix. And we kind of, at least I do expect perhaps EB to be slightly stronger in that matchup and perhaps the other one having subs, so we don't really get to see the full strength. But other than that, I'm still looking forward to Sunday's matches, and hopefully we can get one of them streamed as well.
Yeah, I think EB might have upper hand there, and the other one is going to be a walkover, I believe. So yeah, still tune in. Might be a surprise. You never know what people bring out. New split, new chances. Everybody, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Thank you very much, and thanks to Ghosty for producing.
Call down the reckoning, bring back hope and peace, restore our gloria to live forever. Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace, restore our gloria to live forever. Bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to order. I am the light bringer.